we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Welcome to the program. All right, thanks, guys. Welcome to the program. My name is Jesse Peterson. Tonight we're talking about AIDS in the black community. And I am also the founder and director of Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. And our purpose is to rebuild the family by rebuilding the man. We are a national nonprofit organization. And later in the program, we're going to give you more information about the organization. So be sure to get something to write with. But for now, we're going to talk with Mondel Pettaway. He is the program coordinator for Minority AIDS Project. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
What is Minority AIDS Project?
Well, we're a nonprofit organization ran by minority people of color.
People of color?
Yeah, we're the first black organization to be ran by people of color in the HIV and AIDS community.
And so when you say people of color, are you saying blacks and Hispanics and everybody but white people?
Yeah, we don't discriminate. We have all races at our job, and everybody that you can think of from all different backgrounds currently employed at our agency.
And so what is the purpose of it?
The purpose and our mission is to make sure that the communities of color are well educated about the virus and know about the virus and are able to access the services that are out there for people who are infected with the HIV virus.
With AIDS. What are some of the reasons, how old are the people that you're dealing with? Are they all ages or young kids or all ages?
We're dealing with a variety of ages. Our clientele is basically adults, but we have different programs that target different populations. My program targets youth and gangs and currently at-risk youth. We have a target population where we reach nothing but men. We have a target population where we reach nothing but women. And we try to make sure that we hit every target population, because if we miss somebody, then we're doing somebody injustice.
How did you get involved with this? You don't look like the kind of guy that will be doing this kind of work.
No. I personally came through a program called the YES program. It was for ex-gang members and people who have been incarcerated before. And what the program was for is to teach gang members and ex-gang members about HIV and then send them back out into community so that we can teach our folks. It's important that, each one teach one, and that the knowledge you get is the knowledge you need to share.
Are you an ex-gang member?
Yes, I'm an ex-gang member myself.
Really? And so do a lot of the gang members have the homosexual disease, AIDS?
Well, I don't know if you want to call it a homosexual disease because it affects men straight and gay. But
it is a homosexual disease. It's just that whatever you did to endow them into that community, you will come out with it too. But it is a homosexual disease, right?
No, not at all, sir.
It started with them, though, right?
They
founded the disease.
It may have started in that target population,
right.
But we would never like to, give people the false hope that it's only if you're not homosexual you can't get the disease, because straight people get it.
How do they get it?
Well, we have people who are injection drug users who may get it. People who have unprotected sex may get it. People who are basically not protecting themselves against other people's bodily fluids can't come in contact with the virus.
Right, but in order to get it though, so you have to do it with drugs,
mm-hmm.
or you have to have had sex with somebody who has sex with a homosexual.
Well, you can say it like that, but not necessarily. I wouldn't want to say that. I wouldn't want to.
Why not?
Say that because that's not true. We have tons.
Well, you can't get it if you're just totally straight. And if I'm a man that's straight and I'm dealing with a woman who's straight, I can't get it, right? Unless I do drugs or happen to go into the hospital a blood transfusion. Other than that, I can't get it, right?
No, yes, you still can.
How?
You still can because the virus doesn't discriminate on person's sexuality.
I understand that, but I would have to be doing something to get it. I mean, I would either have to be having sex with a homosexual or somebody who has sex with a homosexual. Or the blood deal.
No, because the reason why I say this is because we have what we call bisexuality out here in America.
Which is the same thing as homosexual.
Well, you can call it homosexuality or bisexuality, but what it means is that you could be straight, have sex with a straight woman who may have sex with somebody 5 years down the line and never knew it. Or someone could have got it from, Arthur Ashe was never homosexual. Arthur Ashe got it through a blood transfusion.
Right, that's what I said. It has to be a blood transfusion, drugs, or having a sex with a homosexual.
Well, why we eliminate homosexuality is because the blood transfusion. If you had contracted the virus in the early 1980s and you had sex with a woman who gave birth to somebody else who may have lived to have a child, I mean, that person never had sex with a homosexual. They had sex with a person who received a blood transfusion.
So you guys, you provide services for these people?
Correct.
Like information?
We provide service like information. We also we have a clothing bank, a food bank. We provide supportive services, referrals to housing programs, and different things like that. What we try to do is meet all their needs. I mean,
and where do you get the money from to do all this?
We have federal grants, state grants, and private grants.
I see. And do you deal with do you do counseling as well?
Yeah, we have mental health therapy where a person who is affected with the HIV virus or anyone who is affected by it can get talk to a therapist, a licensed therapist, or somebody who is a psychiatrist.
And do you deal with their lifestyle? Do you try to get them to change their ways?
As far as
like, let's say that if it's a drug addict, do you try to get them into counseling to stop using drugs and go straight so that this won't happen again?
Almost definitely. We realize that there's no need for us to help a person out who's still, I mean, we will constantly help a person because that's our service. We need to give to the people, but if they're on drugs, we do recommend that they get in drug programs and rehabs and detox areas and things like that. And
if a man is married and he has AIDS, does he have to go and tell his wife about it, or is that kept away from her?
We as an agency are not allowed to disclose anyone's HIV status whatsoever.
Really?
That's his choice.
And so he cannot tell her and continue to go home and have sex with her if he wanted to, and you guys would never do anything about it?
No, I mean, we legally, by legal bonds, we're not allowed to. I mean, he would be able to sue us or even take us to court or anything like that because what we have done is invaded his privacy.
And do you know of cases where that has or is happening?
No, presently. What we try to do is offer counseling so that if a man is married and he has HIV virus and he has not yet given it to his wife, we try to counsel him to warn him of the effects of continuing to hide the secret, or being able to come out to his family and tell him, I have the HIV virus, and dealing with the consequences thereafter.
Do you help homosexuals overcome their lifestyle? Do you tell them to give up homosexuality so they can get past this?
No, that's not our decision whatsoever.
You don't do that?
For them.
So you don't deal with the lifestyle per se at all?
We don't deal with the lifestyle as far as homosexuality or anything like that.
You just predominantly try to keep them well,
keep
them living longer.
No, what we predominantly try to do is educate our folks, and that's people of color, whether they're gay or straight or homosexual.
How serious is the AIDS problem in the black community?
It's very serious. I mean, we realize that black people tend to think that the AIDS virus doesn't affect them. They think it's a white man's disease. They also think it's a gay disease, and if you're not gay or white, then you don't have no problem with it. And I personally am HIV negative. I'm a straight man, and I deal with this virus every day because I know it can affect anyone. We don't tend to think about the virus until it affects us or somebody in our family, and then all of a sudden we're concerned, we need to give, we need to do something. But we need to realize that this virus doesn't have a limit or boundary. Like you said, I mean, somebody could have done something 10 years ago and not even known they had the virus and infected you with it through trust and love.
And so did you start this, this program started because the white community wasn't helping the black community?
I don't want to say that. I just think that our community wasn't getting educated as fast. I mean, if you go right up the street on Wilshire or Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood, you'll see an AIDS awareness sign or HIV sign every 2 or 3 blocks. You go down here into South Central and you won't find but one maybe every 20 blocks or something like, and that's just a lack of education that we're getting, a lack of funding that's coming down here, and people willing to educate our people.
And so, what made, I don't understand how you got into it. You just decided one day I want to go out and help, or did someone recruit you, or what?
No, I was, as I said, I came through a program, and as an ex-gang member, I just started speaking and passing my homeboys condoms and make sure that my homeboys were able to continue, if they're going to continue doing the lifestyle they was at, is that I kept them alive long enough so that when they decided not to do that or not to game anymore, they were still alive and they didn't catch the HIV virus before it was too late.
Do a lot of them have it?
That I know of, no. I don't know of a number of gang members that have it. I mean, what the problem is, we're not getting people in the test, and people are scared of testing for whatever sin they have made committed to, scare them from testing. But you need to face your demons and go on with your life.
Can I ask you a sideline question? Because I didn't know this before. Why were you a gang member?
Why was I a gang member?
Yeah.
I just grew up in the neighborhood and associated myself with it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in that lifestyle, no more, no less.
And how old were you when you got into it?
12.
And so so you're out of it now?
Yeah.
So do you have to hide from the other gang members?
No, I don't hide from nobody.
So I thought that you couldn't get out once you get in.
No, I don't believe that. I believe I'm
That's
still.
not true?
No, I don't discontinue myself. I still associate. How you doing? I'm doing okay. I'm raising my family and my kids, and I'm going about my way. I'm on a positive tip, and I just really can't see myself doing negative right now.
That's good. Let me ask this: within the black community, is it mostly men that have the AIDS disease, or women, or both?
Right now, women are the main ones whose numbers are rising, and children, youth numbers and women numbers are rising constantly every day.
But right now, there are more black men than women.
Overall, there may be more black men who have the virus.
And how do most of them get it?
That I mean through sex. I don't know how or what. And we do have a strong IV drug community here in Los Angeles.
Right.
That we don't recognize.
And so, but most of them get it through sex.
Through sex.
Through sex. And so, are most of them getting it from a woman or from a man?
I don't know that information.
You don't ask that either?
I'm not a case manager. I'm a prevention counselor, so.
But if you were to say just off the tip of your hat.
Off the tip of my hat.
Even though you don't have a hat nor hair. What would you say? Is it?
I would, if I wanted to go out on a limb and say it would have to be mostly for men.
For men.
For men.
And so a lot of black men are into the gay thing?
I think that each community, I think there's a community of gay black men, and I think there's a community of heterosexual black men. Both have the virus.
Is there a large community of heterosexual black men?
Very large, I assume. I think majority of Los Angeles may be a larger community of heterosexuals than gay, yes.
What?
Los Angeles, if you wanted to
Are you saying that most black men in Los Angeles are heterosexual?
A lot
Does
of
heterosexual mean you have sex with both people? With man and woman?
No.
Oh, heterosexual is straight.
Yes.
Well, bisexual. Is there a large section of bisexual men in the black community? Men and women?
I think there's a significant number, but I don't know about a large.
So you said that mostly men are heterosexual who have AIDS? Who has AIDS?
No, I'm saying that if you want to put the numbers out there, most of the gay men have the virus.
The gay men.
Most of the gay men have virus. Heterosexual men don't rank as high. It's like it goes gay men, women, children, then heterosexual men.
I read a report, and you can verify this, that within the black community, that a large number of black people have it now, and particularly black men, and that seemed to be on the rise. Are these men homosexual or bisexual?
I wouldn't. No, I didn't know. I don't know the report and where they got the statistic from, but I would assume they were homosexual men.
Oh, I see.
Because heterosexual men's numbers are not high at all. If they're on the rise, it's homosexual black men.
And so, how are they finding out about you, your group, your organization? How
through
do
people
they
like
find
myself. Through people myself going out in the streets and going in the areas people don't want to go into. We go into the gang festing areas. We go into the projects. We make sure that we get the word out. And that our organization is there and our agency is there to help people.
And how do they receive you, the gang members?
Oh, they receive us nice. I mean, Because we come at them on their level. We come at them not in an authority figure and not prejudging, but we come at them as folks on the same level.
I see. Let me ask, instead of passing out condoms, why not teach them to stop having sex? Why not show them how to overcome that? So that, because even with condoms, you can still get AIDS. So why not show them how to overcome having sex at such an early time in life?
Exactly. As our program is now, we don't do the outreach anymore where we pass out condoms. What we do now is what we call a behavior modification type program.
Okay, when I come back from a break, I want you to tell me about that.
Okay.
We'll be back in a moment.
Around here, the ground is hard. Around here, the goal is farther away. But dreams are still dreamt. Around here, the hurdles are higher. And the weight is heavier, but there is potential. That's why Special Olympics is here. Helping people with mental retardation become athletes. Helping athletes become respected, accepted. Because no matter where we live, we all need a place where we belong. There's a place for you in Special Olympics too. As an athlete, a coach, a volunteer. Special Olympics is training for life. And that means a lot around here.
More than 140,000 Americans.
All right, we are back. My name is Jesse Peterson, and my guest today is Mondel Pettaway. He's the program coordinator for the Minority AIDS Project. Before we went to break, you said that you teach behavior modification. What is that?
That's where we're going in, and we're trying to, we understand that just giving condoms is not the answer. We got to understand that changing people's behavior, changing not their sexual behavior or anything, but the way of thinking about safer sex and about responsibilities. It's about going in and not just saying, oh, here's a condom, you need to be responsible for it, but let's look at the reasons why they're out here having unprotected sex. Let's look at self-esteem. Let's look at employment. You know, we're trying to change a person's way of thinking and not by reprogramming them or anything, but giving them a better outlook on life.
Why so many blacks having so much sex?
That question is hard for me to answer. I mean, everybody has an urge, and I don't, I don't know the exact reason why everybody jumps in bed. I mean, I discussed with some young brothers of mine. It's like, you know, why do men want to put sex in such a high pedestal? Why do we have to at a young age want to have sex? While women, you know, sex is not a big thing for them even at a young age. So it's like, you know, they couldn't give me an answer. It's like macho, you know, to be macho, machismo, you know, manhood, to prove yourself. And a lot of men think that. A lot of boys, I'm going to say that. Yeah. I don't know about men.
So they think that they're proving themselves to be a man by having sex at such an early age?
A lot of young men think that, you know, peer pressure plays a lot of part into it. You know, if all your boys are doing it and you're not the only one doing it, you don't seem as cool. You know, and we all hear that, but that's very true.
Yeah. And so are you a virgin? You have sex before?
Am I a virgin? I have a baby.
Are you married?
Yes.
Oh, you are married?
I'm married.
Oh, phew. Yeah.
I'm married.
So were you a virgin before you got married?
No.
Until you got married?
No.
Did you have sex at an early age?
Yes, I did.
Why did you do it at an early age?
Same reason, machismo, manhood, and proving myself.
And so did you feel like a man once you did it?
No.
You didn't feel like
I felt the same. And that's
and that's what you tell them, that
that's what
it's not that.
You still feel the same. Doesn't prove your manhood whatsoever. You know, responsibility and how you carry yourself proves yourself as a man.
So you try to encourage them to pull away from sex.
Of course.
As much as possible. And what else?
And be aware of responsibilities, build self-esteem up. A lot of gamers don't have high self-esteem in themselves. They're on a destructive path.
And why is that?
It could be a variety of things. It could be home upbringing. It could be it can be lack of money or financially. I mean, it could be a lot of things why they have low self-esteem. But you know,
is it primarily a home problem, like no father in the home or something like that?
I wouldn't categorize that. I was raised without a father, so you know.
I mean, do most of them have fathers in the home, or
yes, some do.
Don't?
Yeah, one of the guys we used to call the notorious guy in the neighborhood had a mother and a father, financially okay.
What would happen if you didn't pass out condoms at all? but just try to show them how to overcome it?
What we're seeing is that a lot of people are understanding that sex is a responsibility and not a pleasure and not a given pleasure. And we have to be responsible for it. We have to.
Do you feel that once you give them a condom, that is encouraging them to do it?
Oh no, I don't feel that like that at all.
You don't?
No.
So
I give them
let
a
me ask you
condom.
this then. Let's say you gave me a condom, and I'm like, right on, brother, thanks. I'm not gonna do it. I mean, I won't do it, or something like that. And then I go along, and all of a sudden this urge comes to do it, and I think, oh, I may get AIDS. And then I remember, oh, the brother gave me a condom. But if I didn't have a condom and the urge came, am I more likely to say, well, I can't do it because I don't have a condom?
Depends on past patterns. If you've been raised to say, I have the urge, I'm gonna do it, with or without a condom, you're gonna do it.
But most of you people are raised to just do it, right?
Right, and what we're trying to say is, since you're gonna do it anyway, do it safely.
Really? But it's not safe with a condom.
It's better than nothing.
But you still get it though, so it's not better than nothing.
I don't say if you get it. The numbers have been reduced with condom use more than they have been.
I know, but
effective.
the point is, you do get AIDS with condoms. And so if you do get it with condoms, that is still not safe, so it's not a good idea to really pass them out.
No, I mean, I always look at it like this. I can't be the one to say don't commit a crime, or we can't be at every crime area, but people still commit crimes. And what I have to do now is teach people that you don't commit crimes to get ahead in the world. What you got to do is work hard to get ahead in the world. And what I do by passing out condoms, and I say be safe, because you have to change your way of thinking. So when you get older, you ain't dead and you ain't dying from a virus that doesn't have any remorse for you.
Right. Let me ask this again, and forgive me for this. If condoms are not safe, you can get it with condoms, how is it that you think that condom is safe?
Condoms they're considered 98% safe if used properly. What a percentage of condoms not being safe is breakage, and condoms do break. But you have to be aware of that, and you have to say, I need to do something to protect myself. And condoms do play an important part. I mean, a lot of people would not like us to believe that and say, don't pass out condoms. But then when teenage pregnancy was around before I was born, it was very high. Gonorrhea still plays #1 thing that's given to teenage high school boys. Chlamydia and different diseases, they're still out there having sex. We can go to the Los Angeles County Epidemiology Office today, and we'll find out that gonorrhea, herpes, chlamydia, and all kinds of sexually transmitted diseases are very high in teenagers and adults, and we need to give condoms out for that.
Really?
Because if we don't, what it is them diseases will keep going.
Did you know that most people don't use the condom that you give out?
Oh, I know.
They don't use them. And so, does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, it means that's the reason why we changed our policy, and what we do now is we still provide condoms, but we have to provide the education to go along with it, because it's no good.
Education means making them aware of the disease.
Not making them aware, but making them go through the programs and aware of their behavior.
Did you know that doesn't work either?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 10 years have gone by, and there's a study that says that all these people have been educated about AIDS, and yet they're out of control with it. They still have sex anyway. They don't see, you kind of make them feel a little fear at first when you tell them about it, but as soon as the fear is gone, they're back into their old ways again.
Okay, that's the difference of what I'm talking about. You're talking about education and awareness. I'm talking about behavior.
Oh, I see.
See, behavior is something totally different from being aware. I know 2 + 2, but I'm no mathematician. You know what I'm saying? I'm not no scientist. I can't do calculus and things like that, but I know my arithmetic.
If a person doesn't want to take your advice about something, what is the best way to allow that person to overcome their problems?
But through their peers. Peers, I mean...
Let's say they don't want to listen to anyone. You tell them, Johnny, you should not have sex out of wedlock because you're going to get AIDS. And they say, oh, I don't want to hear that, or thank you, and I'll do my thing. Then what is the best way to let that person find out the reality of what he or she is doing?
I guess through hard times. I mean, we can't save everybody.
The best thing is to let them suffer.
Right.
And so my question then, if the best thing is to let them suffer, why give them a condom to keep them alive? They're not going to learn anyway unless they go through it. Why not just tell them the truth about it, set a good example, and then let them suffer. If they get AIDS, maybe through their suffering, someone else will learn a lesson from it.
Because I truly believe in my heart that everybody can change. And
that they can?
They can.
But they won't, though.
That's an opinion. I
You
believe
think that everybody will change?
I believe everybody can change.
Yeah, I believe they can, but they won't.
I believe some people will.
But if you're keeping them from suffering, how will they change?
Because
how will they change?
you're a reverend, right? I'm not a reverend. That's not my job to preach Christianity or I don't know what religion you preach, but it's not my position to preach spirituality. My job is to make sure that I keep a brother alive so that you can talk to him. Because if I can't keep him alive and you talk to him, and I don't give him the kind of, I don't give him the education, you talk to him, you cure him, he's what you want him to be, but he dies a year later because I didn't do my job.
Oh, I see. And so you refer them to people like me so I can talk to them?
Most likely. If we keep, I've seen people get very spiritual and change their life around, but it's because I've kept them alive long enough by giving them condoms, by educating them about the virus, because preachers, ex-gang members, gang programs cannot do their job if they tell somebody get out of gangs, and the next thing you know, they die.
You know what I need to do? I'm sorry to end it. We're coming to the end of the segment. We'll be back in a moment. For more information on Bond, call 1-800-411-2663. That's Bond, Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny, rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Okay, we are back. Good to be back. Your organization. And can you give out information about it, how we can reach it or whatever?
We're the Minority Age Project. Just call 411 for information.
And it's located here in Los Angeles.
It's located here in Los
Who's
Angeles.
the head of that program?
The Bishop Reverend Carl Bean.
I'm sorry?
Bishop Carl Bean.
Oh, okay. Well, I do appreciate you coming on, and I hope somehow or another you can have an impact on the lives of the community, especially the black community, because we're so screwed up. So I appreciate you being out there.
Okay.
And thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it. All right. Welcome to the program. My name is Jesse Peterson, and we are live. So if you want to call in, do it now. The number's right there. Just call in on there, whatever you like. Mondel Pettaway is my guest today. He is the program coordinator for Minority Age Project, and he's also an ex-gang member. So we're going to be talking about gangs in the black community. Last week we talked about AIDS, but today we're talking about gangs in the black community. And I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
All right. Let's talk about gangs. How long were you a gang member?
Almost 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, not longer.
And how did you get involved with it?
I pretty much grew up in it and just associated myself with the gang members around the neighborhood.
I see. So when you say I grew up in it, were you born, it was just kind of there, and as you got older, you just got involved, or did someone recruit you?
I was never recruited. I pretty much went there. And it wasn't in my household or anything like that, but it was in public schools that I went to and around the neighborhood. You know, first it was more of a camaraderie and friendship thing. And I like to, maybe when we get a chance to discuss the difference between, you know, a gang member, a gang banger, and the difference between early 80s and present day gangs.
Okay. What does it feel like to be in a gang?
What does it feel like?
Yeah.
It's a variety of feelings. I mean, you can feel power, friendship, a number of things go across. I mean, you can feel invincible. I mean, it's a number of things. It's a broad things of feelings, but you're feeling superior.
You feel superior
overall.
And so, do you remember feeling weak or something, or that kind of feeling before you got into the game?
No.
You know, are most of the gang members, do they have mothers and fathers in the home?
Yes.
They do have mothers
Yes.
and fathers. And why is it that their parents allow them to get involved with the gang?
I don't think there's no parent of a gang member who allows their kid to. I think it's the kid who chooses to be. And it's not, the parent doesn't allow to. My mother fought with me not to be. And every friend I had, parents get upset with them.
Did you have a father in the home?
No.
You didn't have a father?
I had a man in the home, but I didn't have my father.
Oh, okay. And so, did that affect you in any way, not having your father around?
Not in the least bit.
You don't miss your dad at all?
No.
No. Do you know who he is?
Yes.
You do know who he is?
Yes.
Let me ask you this, and I've always wanted to know this. What is it like, and how can another black person kill other black people and seem to feel nothing about it?
I don't think there's a person around that can say they don't feel anything afterward. Now we talking about the emotion afterwards or before. Now the emotion before, is you anger or disbelief or it's frustration. Your adrenaline is running, so you feel nothing when actually pulling the trigger. You know, you have philosophy. I'm not, I'm pulling the trigger, but I'm not the one that actually killed them. Sometimes you have that mentality. Afterwards, you feel the regret and the sorrow, and then you push it aside because that's not what you need to be feeling.
About killing other black people.
Killing people, period.
People, period. And so once you drive through the community, and I assume that you're trying to kill another gang member, and somehow or another you kill other people, babies and women and stuff like that, and now it's on the news. You're sitting back looking at it. Do they see this on the news? Do you go home and look at it on the news?
Oh yeah, I really think that the media is the reason for the escalation of gang violence.
What do you mean by that?
In the early 80s, a young Asian woman got killed in 20 crossfires of 2 rival gang members. All of a sudden, the media said drive-by shootings were the thing gang members were doing. Drive-by shootings escalated at that point because gang members watch TV and they watch news media and they watch for violence. If the news is saying drive-by shootings are the thing to do and you're an up-and-coming gang member, you need to go do a drive-by because you need to be respected because respect is #1 in the neighborhood.
Really? And so, but there is no real idea I'm killing my people, quote unquote, black people. There's not that major concern about that.
No, there's no concern of black people at all. I mean, it's people. It's my home. You segregate yourself. You don't look at it as a race. You look at it as this is my neighborhood and that's the enemy neighborhood, and we're at war. And it goes back to tribal warfare in Africa. I mean, but that's the mentality they have.
They think they got that from Africa?
No, they don't believe that, but they believe they're associated with that. I mean, tribes in Africa warred with each other. Gangs warred with each other. They don't see color.
But tribes in Africa warred with each other because they were either fighting over land or something like that. Are the gang members getting land for their killing?
No, they ain't getting nothing. They're getting respect, and that's the #1 thing.
And who do they get the respect from?
From the surrounding neighborhoods.
The community.
Communities.
But the community are afraid of them. Is that what respect is?
Gang members feed off fear.
They feed off fear.
They feed off fear. I mean, it's better. They rather you fear them than to associate with them.
What would it take to end gang members? I mean, to cut out the gang issue. How can we stop it? Period. If we wanted to end it today, what would be the answer to that?
That's a hard question because it goes back to just I guess. I really can't answer that because it's hard because everybody's reason for joining a gang is different.
Yeah.
I mean, some people can be joining for friendship, so you need to find them a friends or some activity. Or some people may be joining because they had nothing to do, so you need to find them jobs.
Do they blame the white people for their problems?
Nah, never.
They don't blame. Even though the leaders blame the white people, the gang members don't.
No, I mean, no.
How do gang members feel about quote unquote leaders in the black community? People like Maxine Waters and Jesse Jackson and others. How do gang members feel about them?
I mean, most gang members that I talk to respect the leaders of the black community.
Why?
It's because they don't look down on them. They're trying to help, and most gang members have respect for elders and for older people. It's what the media and myths would like to say we don't. Why
do they respect people like Maxine Waters?
For what she's done.
And what has she done?
She's committed a work job thing in Watts. I don't know exactly what the center is or what it's named, but it's the Maxine Waters Center in Watts. She's went to Congress and she fought for the black people, and they hear that. They hear their parents talk about it and they listen.
Really? I'm going to throw this out to you. I feel like Maxine Waters and Jesse Jackson and others are the problem in the black community because they're always blaming. They're given the impression that the reason black people are so screwed up is because of the white man. He won't give them something. You know, he won't give them this, he won't give them that. So it make you feel that you can't make it because of him.
I agree with you. I don't agree that they're the problem, but I agree with what you're saying.
They do give out that impression.
I don't think that we as people, period, need to get anything. We need to go out and earn it.
That's right.
And if we can't earn it, we don't deserve it.
And so if they understand that, why would they respect a person like that? Because if you notice,
that's just
Maxine Waters not on the welfare. She's
Right.
not on programs, nor Jesse Jackson.
Right.
But they seem to keep blacks down by telling them that.
Well,
That's why I wonder, why would they respect a person like that?
I don't mean totally respect. I
okay.
mean, you know, you respect him as much as you respect Michael Jordan's. I mean, but if he walked through the neighborhood talking smack, you would beat him up too.
All right. So what do we need to, let me throw this at you. I'm under the impression that the reason most people, most young men and women are involved in the gangs is because they're coming from bad homes. You know, the father's not there, or if he's there, he's weak, meaning that the mother's running the home, and whenever the mother runs the home, you're in trouble. Have you ever noticed that? Because, you know, let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because the mother's like angry. You know, she's angry at the man for not being there, first of all. And it's difficult for a woman to raise children after a period of time. And so she's angry because her man is not there. And then she didn't have a good father. And now she got these boys and girls that won't obey what she says. So she tried to force them to do it her way. And they seem to get angry at that and rebel against it and say, to hell with you, I go out and do my thing, because she won't listen. Is that a theory that's good, or?
For me personally,
for
no.
Your relation with other gang members?
For my relation with other gang members, no. I think they respect their mothers totally 100%.
Really?
Most people will fight and kill over their mother.
And why?
It's because of the love that mothers give. I mean, women are the bearers of love and the fruit of goodness.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that a mother's love would kill you?
No.
Let me tell you how.
Okay. I'm gonna listen to this one too.
A mother's love weaken you. You know, for an example, I'll tell you a good example. I just saw this the other night. A young lady had a cold, and the woman that's acting as her mother, she was like all over her. Oh, honey, you sick? Oh, come here, baby. You know, lay on me, kind of thing. And it seemed to weaken the girl. You know, the more the mother love came, the worse she got. Whereas with a father, he would say, I'm sorry you sick, go to get some rest, here's some medication. He would smother her with the love. And that kind of love, which comes from a mother, is very emotional, and it weakens a person. Does that make sense?
I mean, no.
No, it doesn't make sense?
Not for me, because I think the smothering and the love for my mother grew me up to be a stronger man.
And how is that?
Because I've never bonded with men. I never really respected men, period.
Really?
I never had a man in my household who I would say, I mean, I respected them, but I could care less.
Yeah.
I mean, my mother is who I love and would die and put my life down for. We protect the women of the world. We respect the women of the world.
And so, why don't you respect men?
I can't say I respect. I just don't feel for them. I mean, as far as the emotional tie, I mean, I don't feel like I need to lay down my life for my father. Let him lay down his life for me. And just like I would lay down my life for my mother because she can bring more of me into the world. I mean, my father can't do it on his own. He's not a childbearer.
And so he's not a what?
Not a childbearer. He can't give birth. And I think that men need to realize that women are an equal and not a part of.
Equal to what?
Equal to them.
Really, how is that?
Because without women, we could not have men. Without, you know what I'm saying?
But that doesn't make them equal.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, but that doesn't make them equal. I understand why you think that, because I was there too. I didn't have a father in the home, and I thought my grandmother and my mom, especially my grandmother, since she raised me, I thought she was it. I worshiped this woman almost, but I came to realize that was a mistake. I appreciate the fact that she raised me, but I needed a father to raise me so I would have been able to understand what it is to be a man.
I agree with you. There needs to be men in the house. There needs to be strong men leading the community. But then we also realize that there needs to be women that we need to be able to fall back on
No.
when times are hard. I
Let
really
me tell you
believe
this.
that.
If you fall back on a woman, well, who is she going to fall back on?
I don't know. I don't know that one. I don't hurt back on me. Then we just falling on each other back and forth like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how I feel. You know.
Yeah.
And
I understand you, but
Yeah.
believe me, I understand it because I've been there. All right?
Okay.
I'm older now and I know better, but I've been where you are. But I have to tell you this: any man that is falling back on a woman does not have the respect of that woman, because that is weakness. A man is supposed to carry himself in a manner that his woman can look up and fall back on him. She's supposed to look up to him, but a man that is looking back on a woman is not a real man. And I understand you feel that way because you have not had a man to show you that way.
Just call me not a man, but that's cool.
No. But you just, if you don't respect, let me ask this question, we're going to take a call.
Okay.
If you don't respect men, how do you respect yourself?
Oh, I respect myself, but I don't respect other men in my life. I mean, I don't
Really?
need
Do
them.
you feel like a man?
Oh, I am a man.
Do
I
you
take
feel
care
like
of my
one?
bills, I take care of my kids, I take care of my wife.
Let's take a call from Randy. Randy from LA. Hi, Randy.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
All right. I just tune in on the show, and I'm concerned. What topic are you guys are speaking about?
We're talking about gangs in the black community.
Oh, okay. So I see. So are the different types of gang members are they still feuding between each others? The Crips and the Bloods.
Are they feuding between each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've always feuded against each other. I think now gangs are going beyond colors and going into the color green. You know, not the color blue and red, but the color green of money.
Well, why must that be an issue that we as black people must fight over something that we don't own?
That's a question that needs to be answered, and I don't think I have the answer right now. I mean, I can't tell you.
Randy, thanks for your call. We have to go to a break. I appreciate you calling.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back in a moment.
Around here, the ground is hard. Around here, the goal is farther away. But dreams are still dreamt. Around here, the hurdles are higher. And the weight is heavier, but there is potential. That's why Special Olympics is here. Helping people with mental retardation become athletes. Helping athletes become respected, accepted. Because no matter where we live, we all need a place where we belong. There's a place for you in Special Olympics too. As an athlete, a coach, a volunteer. Special Olympics is training for life. And that means a lot around here.
Okay, we are back. My name is Jesse Peterson. We are live. You can call in. We're here for another 15 minutes or so. My guest today is Mondel Pettaway. He is the program coordinator for Minority Age Project, and he's also an ex-gang member. So let's go to Robert in LA before I go back to Mondel. Hi, Robert.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Mr. Jesse Peterson, I would like to commend you on what you're doing right now. This is a great show. I mean, it is on public access, but I'm watching it, and this is giving me a forum where I can call in and talk to people, you know, all over the city. I don't know the brother's name to the right of you here on the television screen. What's his name?
Mondel.
And he works for the Minority AIDS Project.
Yes.
Hey, that's beautiful. I just want to say that it's good to see black people coming together and trying to, you know, get a forum together to talk about the problems in the community.
All right.
Now, what I want to say this right here. I believe, this is just my personal belief, I believe that everybody should be judged on their individual merit, what they do. You understand what I'm saying? We shouldn't be given anything. We did miss out on a lot of things in the past because of racism and other things like that, but we want to just try to strive, get with God. God is first. This television show isn't even first. I'm not first. When I go to work every day, it's not first. God is first. If you put God first, everything else that's evil will get to the side, and you'll be able to get on that straight path and do what you got to do. I commend both you brothers for doing what you guys have to do and what you're doing right now.
All right. Thanks for your call, buddy.
That's right.
I appreciate it. You have a question here?
Yeah, I have a question for Mondel. There was an injunction ordered by the court that disallowed gang members from gathering on a street corner. I don't know if you're aware of it. One of the probably deadliest gangs in L.A. And how do you feel about that? Do you think that that's a good idea, or?
I think it's an idea worth doing, because if we don't do something to curb and to curb street violence and curb street gangs, then they're going to get out of control. Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
That's a good question.
The order also prohibited gang members from carrying beepers and phones. Do you agree with that as well?
No, I think that's a violation of their civil rights. I think at one point you need to not take it beyond what you need to do. If you need to have a curfew, then you need to do it, but you need to make sure that there's not people out there abusing that privilege. And I'm not talking about gang, I'm talking about people of authority figure saying that a guy going to the store for his mother needs to be going to jail because he's after curfew, or because you have a beeper and you work at a business, or you know what I'm saying, your job needs to get a hold of you, you're a drug dealer. That's the whole thing that needs to go.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I had a question. You said that you had been a gang member for some time. Then
Can you speak up for us?
Yeah. So you said you had been a gang member for some time, and you wanted to talk about the difference about how gangs were like in the 80s and how they changed in the 90s.
All right. Well, when I first started gangbanging, more the reason why I gangbanging was for friendship and camaraderie. And what I mean by camaraderie, I mean that was my friend, that was my dog, that's somebody I can trust and live with. Nowadays, it's not like that. It's more of within a gang, you have different cliques. You have homies that gather with other homies, and homies that gather with other homies. Some homies make more money than other homies, and there's jealousy and rivalry within a gang. And it's not like that. It wasn't like that when I was growing up in the gang. Everybody was homie. Everybody was friends. If you had a fight with a homeboy, what you did was you got over it, you drank a beer, and y'all was friends. But nowadays, you have a fight with a homeboy, I mean, you got to watch your back, make sure he don't shoot you later on or something like that. And that's the difference between gangs.
Yeah. Mondel, let me ask this. Did you love you? So you don't know your father, so that means you didn't love your father, right?
I knew my father.
You knew your father, but you didn't love him. Why not?
I have love for him for being my father, but I don't have love for my father for not being a man or being a father, knowing how to be a father.
Being there for you,
right.
Raising you, help, you know,
he didn't do
all
that.
that. He didn't do that.
My father.
Do you think that if you had a father in the home that you loved and respect, you know, he was a good man, that you would have ended up in the gangs?
Yeah, I still would have.
Even if you had a father that you loved?
Yes, I would.
But he wouldn't have allowed you to get away with that as a father.
He couldn't do nothing.
When you're a child, he can do something.
That wasn't my mentality.
But
I
your mentality.
I was a 12-year-old grown man.
Right, but if you had a father who you respected and loved, your mentality would have been different.
Maybe not, but I really believe that as 12 years I was a grown man. I had a man in the house.
But you
he was
didn't
not
really,
my father, but I mean I had a man in the house.
But you didn't have any respect for that man. Because with stepfather, we don't love them the way we would love our real fathers. Have you noticed that?
Oh,
everybody prefer their real father, right?
Oh, most definitely.
And so, if you had a real father, then your perception of life would have been different.
Maybe. Me personally don't believe that. I believe that I have my beliefs. I was taught right from wrong, and I chose to make my path my way. I've always said that from the day one, from the first time I went to jail.
Right, but again, you only said it because you didn't have a father to teach you another way, so you're trying to figure out your own way.
Right.
Okay. Before I go to Gary, let me tell you this, and we'll talk about it after Gary. The worst thing, well, a lot of bad things happen to black people, but the worst thing that happened to them is that they have been raised by women and they glorify women.
Right.
That is the worst thing that has happened to the black community. And those men that has put mama on the throne are not real men. I'm telling you, it is destroying us, and we need to realize that and overcome it. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute.
Okay.
Gary, thanks for calling. Gary?
Yeah.
You're on the air.
Okay, yes, I'd like to ask you, what do you think about the existentialism in the black community?
Extra what?
The existentialism in the black community.
Lack of God.
And also, I wanted to ask you,
They don't believe
do
in
you
God.
feel that the media as a whole is a tool for the white man?
Say that again?
Do you feel that media as a whole is a tool for a white man to use against a black man?
Well, I believe that the media is wicked in the sense that it's always, it creates problems. It finds reason to keep us angry at one another. It separates the races so that we will fight one another. So in that sense, it is evil. And the other thing is, why is there God in the black community? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Okay. The reason that God is not in the black community is because men are weak. And God has an order of things that he operates by. God, Jesus, man, woman, and child. In the black community for the last 50 years, 20 years or so, 40 years, it's been woman and man and hell. And because of that, God is not involved. And yet, every black person and their mama would claim God. And if you look at their life, you look at their family, you look at their community, God is nowhere around. It's because men are weak.
Oh, man, dude.
Can I say something to Gary too? Gary, you gotta also understand media may be evil. It's as evil as a gun is in somebody else's hand. A gun can be used for good or it can be used for bad. It just depends on who's using it.
And the media has played a big role in keeping blacks down. They have promoted people like Maxine Waters and Jesse Jackson, Louis Farrakhan and others who promote evil. And so they have helped them brainwash the black community. So they definitely work on the side of evil. Thanks for calling, Gary. We need to take a break.
Okay, no problem.
All right, back in a moment. For more information about Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny, call 1-800-411-BOND. That's 1-800-411-BOND. Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny, rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Okay, we are back. We are live. Call in. I'm talking to Mondel, ex-gang member. Mondel, if we as men would come to order, drop the anger that we have, forgive our mothers for screwing up our lives, forgive our dads for not being there to protect us from our mothers and guide us the right way, then I guarantee you we would not have gang members, we would not have weak black men, we would have a better community, we wouldn't have all these weak preachers taking advantage of us. It would change. What do you think about that?
I think that's great that you said that.
You disagree, or?
My opinion is I disagree, yes.
You disagree?
I very much so.
You don't think that things would change if we had good men leading the families?
Good men, but not put women to the side.
No, you won't put them to the side. There's an order of things. You know, God, Jesus, man, woman, and child. And when that order is together, life works. But when the order is broken, the man is weak or he's not there, you have the kind of disorder that you see in the black community.
Right. I think that it should be the order of strong black men, strong black women, and equals. Because then you
have you ever seen two
family.
Have you ever seen two presidents in one home?
No, I ain't seen no two presidents.
Have you seen it in a company?
No.
So you got to have the man, the president, and the woman, the vice president.
All right. Wrap it
I
up.
appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week. Thanks, man.
No problem.
Understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up. Somewhere in the world today, men have got to stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find